Lately, there seems to be a deep and growing golf connection in sports, whichever way you turn. From boxing to racing to golf to esports and even professional wrestling, the Arab world seems to have a finger in the pie. But perhaps their biggest involvement is in football. Back in 2020, Newcastle United was just your average regular team. 4 years down the road, the Magpies have morphed into one of the most competitive teams in the EPL, also qualifying for and playing UCL football. The main difference between the 2020 and 2024 Newcastle United teams is ownership. The club has gone from being owned by Mike Ashley to a part of the Saudi project and, get this, the richest club on earth. Investors from the Gulf. All that Saudi money majorly comes from petroleum, but their gazes have been shifting to football investments. Their local league has been recruiting some of football's biggest star names, leading to an explosion in viewership. According to Transfer Market, in the season 2022-23, more than 2 million new viewers started watching Saudi Pro League, and the average number of spectators of each game increased to over 10,000 fans. Compared to the viewers of the Saudi Pro League in 2021-22, the viewership number increased by around 66%. Well, what else would you expect when the 19th largest global economy set its pockets on a sport? However, they are hardly alone in this business. Dare I say it's a regional project. The Gulf or Arab world has taken an interest in sport and has aggressively pursued its interests. Qatar and the United Arab Emirates are the two other big names in the picture. You could also make a case for Egypt as well. And if you imagine the Newcastle United situation as an outlier, think again. The history of investment from the Gulf shows that Arab investors typically go for underwhelming clubs. This much is evident with the rise of Manchester City and Paris Saint-Germain due to Gulf backing. However, lately, Arab investors have tried to aberrate from this pattern and have also targeted and pursued more established clubs. We saw this when a Qatari investor rivaled Ineos for the purchase of Manchester United, and when Saudi investors competed against Clearlake Capital for the purchase of Chelsea. With the recent success and growing popularity of the Saudi Pro League following heavy investment from the state fund and private entities, it's only a matter of time before other Gulf states toe a similar line. That said, let's take a look at some clubs in the Big Five leagues with a Gulf connection. Manchester City. There's no Gulf-backed project more successful than Manchester City at the moment. The club, once a deplorable team, now sits in the upper echelons of the richest and most successful clubs in world football. Sheikh Mansour of the UAE purchased the club in 2008. Since then, the club has amassed over 17 domestic honours under 3 different managers, and they recently won the UCL trophy that evaded them for years. While Manchester City is a Gulf-backed project, it represents one of many football investments made by Sheikh Mansour and his City Group. The investment spans over 10 clubs across multiple continents, including Asia, South and North America, and Australia. Aston Villa. In 2018, Egyptian billionaire businessman Nassif Sawiris purchased a 55% controlling stake worth 36 million in Aston Villa, succeeding Tony Xi as chairman. The club has since ranked as one of the top richest clubs in world football. It's thanks to Sawiris' influence and cash injection that the Claret and Blue are becoming one of the most competitive teams in the EPL, going from relegation form to a mid-table team to a top 10 team, and now Champions League football with their prolific coach Unai Emery at the helm. Sheffield United. Sheffield United is currently part of the Saudi-backed investments, with its owner being Saudi royalty, Prince Abdullah bin Masad bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud. The Prince took over the club in 2019, despite purchasing a 50% controlling share some 6 years prior from Kevin McCabe in August 2013, with the option to take a 100% ownership at a later date. Unlike the previously mentioned clubs that have gone on to find success in the league, the Blades continue to be utter wet porridge. They're constantly in and out of the top flight, hardly convincing, and have just been relegated once more after just one season back in the EPL. Paris Saint-Germain. Some 13 years ago, Paris Saint-Germain was an underwhelming team in France with hardly any success to its name. Then came the Qatari Sports Investments takeover, led by Nasser Al Khelaifi, which quickly turned around the team's fortunes. In the years that followed, PSG soon became a powerhouse in French football, going on to break records and signing some of the biggest stars in the sport, including Neymar Jr., Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe, and many more. The Parisians currently generate the 5th highest revenue in world football and are ranked the 7th most valuable football club according to Forbes. They may be local champions that constantly bottle any chance to win the Champions League, but they have won 10 Ligue 1 titles and 6 Coupe de France. PSG is still one of the most successful golf-backed projects out there. Newcastle United. The Magpies are one of the latest clubs to be backed by one of the Gulf states. The takeover, completed by a Saudi-led confederation, purchased the club in 2021 for an eye-watering £415 million. The club has since regained its competitiveness with Eddie Howe at the helm and is now an attractive prospect for players from around the world. That much was evident in its ability to pull AC Milan talent Sandro Tonali from his boyhood club. Although the club has since been knocked down a peg from its UCL qualification days, it's still in better shape than when it was run by Steve Bruce and Mike Ashley. The fans are certainly much happier and hopeful too. Sponsorship. Taking over football clubs isn't the only way the Gulf states have infiltrated the sport. Sometimes it's more subtle, like investments and sponsorships. Emirates and Etihad are UAE brands that spent over $160 million on shirt sponsorships in 2014 alone. Emirates sponsors Arsenal Stadium, while Etihad has its name on Manchester City's. In 2011, the Qatari Foundation became Barcelona's first ever paid-for shirt sponsor. The non-profit signed a deal with the Catalan club valued at €150 million. Whether it's a takeover or sponsorship, every involvement from the Gulf in football has always raised eyebrows and attracted criticism. However, Gulf states and investors continue to invest and deepen their roots in European football. That begs the question, why? Why do Gulf investments pour so much money into European football? Beyond the obvious benefits of investing in sports, like tourism and economic opportunities, the Gulf foray into football is driven by more than just a love for the beautiful game. Long-standing rumours suggest it's a bid for soft power and better public perception. It's not new that several Gulf states still condone practices considered unideal to the rest of the world. Gulf investors and their managers have largely avoided speaking on the subject or vaguely dismissed it when confronted. However, this has only given their detractors more ammunition to call them out. For example, following the Saudi-backed acquisition of Newcastle United in 2021, critics included Liverpool coach Jurgen Klopp and Sasha Deshmukh, head of Amnesty International UK, who called for the takeover to be prevented. That didn't happen, of course. What are your thoughts on this? Do you believe the benefits of these investments outweigh their particular their potential drawbacks? Or is the issue of sports washing something that needs more stringent scrutiny and regulation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more in-depth analysis and discussions on the most pressing topics in sports today.